Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Since debuting under Triple H's regime, Jacob Fatu has been presented as a formidable force. The King of Kings has consistently highlighted the raw toughness and power of the Samoan werewolf. Currently, Jacob Fatu is embroiled in the Bloodline Civil War, aligning with Solo Sikoa against Roman Reigns and the OG Bloodline. However, recent reports suggest that Triple H may have scrapped major plans for an undisputed WWE title match involving Fatu. The reason appears to be a shift in focus toward accelerating the OG Bloodline reunion storyline. WWE had discussed Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu once. According to Zero News, WWE previously discussed a potential match between Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu. The source provided this update in response to a prior report hinting at plans for a clash between Cody and Jacob. With the American Nightmare now distanced from the Bloodline storyline, the insider clarified that this match was, at one point, considered within the Stamford-based promotion. JUSO's return to the OG Bloodline is a potential reason behind massive plans getting scrapped. The source also noted that plans for a Jacob Fatu versus Cody Rhodes match were likely scrapped due to JUSO's accelerated reunion with the OG Bloodline. In his tweet, Zero News mentioned due to them rushing Jay back to Bloodline, suggesting that WWE adjusted plans to prioritize Jay's return. Otherwise, Triple H might have moved forward with a match between Fatu and Rhodes. With Cody holding the undisputed WWE Championship, this potential match would have involved the title, presenting a major opportunity for the Samoan werewolf. When is Triple H expected to give Jacob Fatu a world title match? During the recent episode of Monday Night Raw, Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu faced off in a dark match for the undisputed WWE title in a Philly street fight. Naturally, the American Nightmare emerged victorious, as dark matches rarely see title changes, especially with a world title on the line. However, if the above reports are accurate, questions have come up about when Triple H might officially book Fatu in a world title match. Currently, the Samoan werewolf is expected to remain deeply involved in the Bloodline saga, likely until WrestleMania next year. The story between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa doesn't appear to be ending soon and may even extend beyond Survivor Series War Games. The conclusion could take place at WrestleMania 41, where Triple H might book a singles match between Reigns and Sikoa for the showcase of the Immortals. Given this, we may not see Jacob Fatu in a world title match until after WrestleMania 41, as the family storyline takes precedence for now. The plans for Jacob Fatu's WWE future had been one of the most highly anticipated topics among wrestling fans, and Triple H seemed determined to pull off something monumental. Fatu's arrival had the potential to shake up the WWE landscape, especially with his connection to the Bloodline. He was powerful, charismatic, and carried the legacy of Samoan wrestling royalty. Yet, as rumors circulated about Fatu's potential debut being scrapped, questions arose. What could have possibly caused Triple H to pull the plug on such an enticing storyline? It all began when the whispers about Fatu's recruitment to WWE intensified following his performances in MLW. Fatu's unmatched intensity and ability to captivate a crowd were exactly the qualities Triple H loved in his superstars. The vision was straightforward: bring Fatu to WWE, build a storyline that capitalized on his ties to the Bloodline, and potentially have him stand alongside or even against his cousin, Roman Reigns. Yet, as the ideas grew, so did the challenges, and soon, Triple H found himself weighing an unforeseen obstacle. A family torn apart in the complex world of wrestling family dynamics, loyalty is everything. The Bloodline had been a central storyline for WWE, drawing in massive ratings and rejuvenating the careers of everyone involved. For Triple H, the idea of introducing Jacob Fatu into the fold presented an exciting twist. However, with this fresh energy came uncharted territory. Fatu was already well established outside WWE and had cultivated a persona independent of the Bloodline. His reputation, earned through grit and independence, was something that his fans respected. The dilemma for Triple H came down to one major question: would Fatu's inclusion serve to enhance or dilute the power dynamics within the bloodline? Roman Reigns had established himself as the head of the table, a figure who commanded respect. Bringing in Fatu, who shared an undeniable gravitas, threatened to disrupt the delicate balance the storyline had achieved. Triple H knew that forcing a rift within the bloodline could risk upsetting a stable that was thriving. The trust factor. The other issue was the unpredictability that came with Fatu. He was a force of nature, someone who brought everything he had to every performance. However, his rebellious streak was no secret. Triple H worried that Fatu's strong-willed personality could create friction, especially in a system where the expectations were rigorous. WWE was different from the Indies, where Fatu had the freedom to be unrestrained. Triple H was aware of Fatu's reputation but believed that, with the right mentoring, Fatu could adapt to WWE style. Yet, behind the scenes, concerns about whether Fatu would play by WWE's rules continued to swirl. Triple H had already seen the pitfalls of investing in wrestlers who eventually proved difficult to manage, and while he was confident in Fatu's potential, he couldn't ignore the risks. Fatu was his own man, and that sense of fierce independence didn't always mesh well with the collaborative nature WWE demanded. A creative stalemate adding to the complexity was the creative direction of the Bloodline storyline. WWE's writers had planned for Reigns to embark on a long-standing feud with Solo Sikoa, positioning him as a potential successor or challenger within the Bloodline hierarchy. Introducing Fatu would have demanded significant rewrites, potentially disrupting the pace of the ongoing storyline. As much as Triple H wanted to bring Fatu into the WWE, he also recognized that the timing wasn't ideal. The arc with Solo Sikoa had too much momentum to be derailed, and adding another family member into the mix risked overcomplicating things. Furthermore, Triple H had built WWE's reputation on carefully crafting stories that resonated with fans over time. A rushed insertion of Fatu into the storyline felt like it could do more harm than good. Fatu's mixed feelings. Meanwhile, Fatu himself was said to be apprehensive about signing on. He knew what WWE could offer in terms of exposure and financial stability, but he was equally aware of the restrictions it might place on his style. In MLW, he had developed a fiercely loyal fan base that admired him for his unfiltered intensity and hard-hitting style. WWE's formula was more controlled, and he was unsure if he'd be able to adapt without compromising his essence. Fatu's hesitation, while subtle, added another layer to the decision-making process. Triple H wanted to avoid a situation where he invested heavily in a star who might later feel constrained by WWE's creative restrictions. For Fatu, WWE's grandeur was enticing, but he feared losing the raw edge that had set him apart. In the end, his doubts lingered, making it harder for Triple H to move forward confidently. The potential for future plans. Though the immediate plans for Fatu were scrapped, Triple H didn't close the door entirely. He was fully aware that WWE fans were captivated by the idea of Fatu in the bloodline, and the potential was too high to abandon permanently. Instead, he decided to play the long game, keeping an eye on Fatu's growth outside WWE. Triple H envisioned a scenario where Fatu could come in when the storyline naturally allowed, perhaps in a year or two when the dynamics within the bloodline had shifted. With Roman Reigns potentially moving into a part-time role, Fatu's presence could then serve as a passing of the torch moment. Triple H hoped that with time, both Fatu's mindset and WWE's creative landscape would align, making the introduction smoother and more impactful. Conclusion: a calculated decision in the end. Triple H's decision to scrap the immediate plans for Jacob Fatu boiled down to one major reason: timing. He realized that the current dynamics within the bloodline and Fatu's personality required an approach that WWE wasn't yet ready to accommodate. While fans might have hoped for an explosive debut, Triple H knew that a rushed introduction could undermine everything they had worked to build within the bloodline saga. For now, the idea of Fatu joining WWE remains a tantalizing what-if, and fans can only speculate about what might have been. But in the world of WWE, nothing is ever truly off the table. Triple H's decision might just be a delay, a calculated pause in a game where timing is everything. And when the time is right, perhaps Jacob Fatu will finally take his place in the bloodline, not as a disruptor, but as the heir to a legacy that WWE fans have only begun to witness.